Trading and investing of any kind carries risk. Everything discussed here is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken as financial advice because, I don't give financial advice. Like, subscribe, set that notification bell if you want to hear things and stuff. And then, of course, share it. And remember, that little like button doesn't harm you at all, but it helps me. So, what happened today? Well, we broke out of a diamond. Well, we're trying to break it now, but we broke out of a wedge over here. This is ES, by the way. So we broke this wedge, which is part of this larger diamond. So we have this larger diamond here. If you don't understand diamond patterns, they're not people's favorite patterns. Probably not anywhere close to my favorite either. But then we have this smaller diamond here. Right, and so we ended up breaking out here. Let's dip down to a 10-minute. Let's do that. So we broke out of this smaller wedge here, right on this side of this. We pushed, and then we hit this bigger diamond trend line here. It's the beautiful thing about trend lines. I mean, I'm sure if I drew that properly, it would be better respected. Anyway, and then we'd had a squeeze today. A lot of selling came in yesterday into the close. Somebody in the room today noticed the ES definitely had a ton of sell orders into the close yesterday. And I'll have to look back. I haven't looked back yet, but I'm going to just assume they got absorbed. And so based on the way today looks, there was a bit of a short squeeze. And I would assume that a lot of those sell orders probably had a bit to do with that. You had Biden talking today and all that, but, that just is what it is. Talking about debt ceiling started to push. And then, of course, this is just a beautiful little squeezy. So we pushed up. We got to the top of this diamond. And so in order for this to be a breakout, what you want to see is basing here for this diamond pattern. Diamond patterns typically are considered continuation patterns, but continuation patterns. But so yeah, we'll hopefully, if we base here, we'll continue to push. And then if that is the case, then we would like to do the same up here, right? We would like to get up here and base. So what you want to see out of a diamond pattern typically is a bit of a, you take and measure the size and you kind of want to push to about double the size. So if we were to do that, that takes us to right up here around 42.33. But I don't find diamond patterns to be super accurate, but, it gives you something to pay attention to, right? There's tons of patterns that you can play off of here. If we continue to get the move here, something else we can really look at if we take and kind of draw this across is get that lined up so it looks better. So we could be looking at a bit of a butterfly pattern here on a larger scale, which would give us that roughly 272, something like that, 272, give or take. Yeah. So in the 42 to, yeah, 42, 43, 40, yeah, roughly 42, 43 area. So that is larger pattern, right? That's something that we want to work out. We had somebody else point out in the room. So we have market profile people in the room. We have volume profile people in the room. We have people that do a combination of those things using harmonics and everything else. So it's nice to have a solid group that kind of well-rounded. We have single prints. If you don't know what that is, then you just look into it. But we have single prints down to roughly 4150. Yeah, give or take, maybe a little lower, but right around 4150. So we had somebody call that out, and I can verify that too because I can see it as well. So there, it's a possibility we could go down and we could actually try to go retest that area. Now, the interesting thing is as I am watching other indicators. So we are getting into the close today, tons and tons of absorption up here. So these sell orders into the close look like they got absorbed. Um, I mean, super absorbed so far. So if that is any indicator to me, it doesn't mean that we won't pull back, but we have a huge defense set up around 4165 on the ES. And we're getting a ton of absorption up here with these sell orders. So one of two things will happen here. Whoever or the group of whoever is absorbing these orders, if we pull too far, we'll have to cover that, right? And so if we do, then that's when you get basically the opposite of the squeeze back down on the other direction. I will say, though, a lot of times when I have seen this, that has not been the case. I have typically seen when this much absorption happens, a bit of a continuation, at least either into the evening or into the next day for additional squeezing. And because practically, I mean, what's happened up here is you have people that have bought and sold, but there's a possibility that you've also got a lot of people that have tried to short this up here. And if all of that shorting has been absorbed and they continue to absorb all these orders down to 4165, there's a pretty solid possibility if we can maintain that. Let's see what that looks like on our chart here. Yeah, so 4165 from where we are now is going to roughly be somewhere in here. Something like that, right? So if we can absorb everything in here, get up here, kind of base in this area. This is I have a trend line for some reason for way back, and I was looking at it earlier, and it's just a place that we've respected, both to the upside and to the downside. So if we get up here and we can kind of base over this and push, there is a possibility we could try to go complete this particular pattern here. Does that mean it's going to happen tomorrow? No. Does it mean it won't happen tomorrow? No. It's information. So to the downside, so the reason these diamonds, you want to wait for them to break out and base is because you can break out this wedge. So basically the backside of a diamond is a wedge, so it's basically the combination of a broadening pattern and a wedge pattern. You get the break of the wedge and you get the push. So now you've broken out the wedge and you've pushed the wedge, but what you haven't done is broken out the diamond. And so once you get that, if you don't get that, a lot of times what you'll get is a pullback down, retest, and if that does not succeed, you will get a pull down through the other side. Now, that's the problem with diamonds, is they're not highly reliable. They're just not highly reliable. So, that's the problem with them. So the idea here, based on everything that I'm seeing, would be to kind of get some kind of base going up here and maybe push. But there's no guarantee of that, right? I mean, you could absolutely have somebody come in and just slap it down, and then the next thing you know, we're going the other direction. So on this bigger diamond, if I haven't gone through that already, but quickly I will. I mean, the same thing. You want to get up here, you want to base, and you want to break out. The problem with a diamond this big is that, you're really wanting to see roughly double the size of this thing, which is 4350. That's a lot. A lot of movement. Now, it doesn't mean that'll happen overnight, right? That could just be something that happens over time. But yeah, so that's where we are. That's what's going on. Earlier today, we had a lot of dark pool prints start coming in around like the 41050 area. And we had that initial pullback to kind of get to the bottom of one of those early wicks, and then we kind of just started to move up from there. And it looks like after hours, let's see, 415, 100, we're getting them at 415.20. Interesting. So we'll have to pay attention to that level as well. 415. 4:23, 4:15:20, 4:15:21. So right around 4:15:20 or so is where we've got some more dark pool prints coming in. They're not signature prints; they're just regular prints, as far as I could tell. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the signatures are still coming in at 410 from yesterday. All right, so yeah, that's where we are, and that's what I see. So yeah, like and give me comments or tell me things or whatever the case may be. And yeah, I will see everybody the next time I see you. Peace.